Hello and welcome to Quiz Time. I'm your host, Ellen, and today we have 100 questions on general knowledge. Let's see how many you can get right. And we love to hear about it in the comments. So let's begin. What particle flow creates electric current? Neutrons, electrons, or protons? Electrons. The standard voltage of mains electricity in most of Europe is 230 volts, 110, or 400. $230 volts. What household appliance first popularized electric refrigeration? Icebox with motor unit, chest freezer, or mini fridge? Icebox with motor unit. What organ in human development forms first during embryogenesis? Lungs, liver, or heart? Heart. Which supercontinent broke apart to form today's continents? Gondwana, Laurasia, or Pangaea? Pangaea. What natural force primarily drives the movement of tectonic plates? Mantle convection currents, magnetic field, or gravitational pull? Mantle convection currents. Which of these is the tallest mountain above sea level? K2, Mount Everest, or Kanchenjunga? Mount Everest. Where is the notorious Darien Gap located? Colombia and Venezuela, Panama and Costa Rica, or between Colombia and Panama? Between Colombia and Panama. What's a key danger of crossing the Darien Gap? Dense jungle with no roads, extreme cold, or volcanic activity? Dense jungle with no roads. What appliance uses a spinning drum and centrifugal force? Washing machine, microwave, or toaster? Washing machine. What is the primary gas at high altitudes on Everest? Nitrogen, oxygen, or carbon dioxide? Nitrogen. Which continent drifted northward to form today's Europe and Asia? Gondwana, Laurasia, or Pangaea? Laurasia. What mineral is crucial for electrical wiring? Aluminum, copper, or zinc? Copper. What natural landmark divides Asia and Europe? The Alps, the Pyrenees, or the Ural Mountains? The Ural Mountains. What body part contains more than half the bones in the human body? Skull, spine, hands, and feet. Hands and feet. What appliance uses resistive heating elements? Electric oven, dishwasher, or refrigerator? Electric oven. The Grand Canyon was primarily carved by wind erosion, glaciers, or river erosion. River erosion. What is the main summit zone of Mount Everest called? Death Hollow, Death Zone, or Oxygen Hollow? Death Zone. Which appliance uses a compressor to operate? Refrigerator, hair dryer, or blender? Refrigerator. What human organ continues developing well after birth? Brain, kidney, or stomach? Brain. The most active tectonic boundary today is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, the Pacific Ring of Fire, or the Himalayan Front. The Pacific Ring of Fire. What voltage is standard for household outlets in the US? 220 volt, 120 volt, or 240 volt? (120 volt). The deepest known point in Earth's oceans is Java Tech, Tonga Trench, or Mariana Trench? The Mariana Trench. The continents of Africa and South America fit together due to river patterns, continental drift, or volcanic reshaping? Continental drift. Which modern appliance evolved from early hand-crank devices? Blender, toaster, or television? Blender. Mount Everest lies on the border of Nepal and Bhutan, Nepal and China or Tibet, or India and China? Nepal and China, or Tibet. The Darien Gap is about how wide at its narrowest point? 50 miles, 100 miles, or 300 miles? (100 miles). What is the main hazard on Mount Everest besides altitude? Avalanches, tornadoes, or volcanic eruptions? Avalanches. What early electrical invention enabled long-distance communication? Telegraph, incandescent bulb, or the phonograph? The telegraph. The first powered vacuum cleaners were operated by gasoline engines, foot pumps, or batteries. Gasoline engines. Which body part regenerates skin cells the fastest? Face, arms, or abdomen? Face. The Rift Valley is splitting apart which continent? Asia, Africa, or Europe? Africa. What appliance became widespread after World War II in American kitchens? Microwave oven, electric mixer, or the standalone freezer? The microwave oven. Mount Everest's rock at the summit is primarily granite, basalt, or limestone. Limestone. The electrical grid transmits power at high voltage, low current, low voltage, high current, or low voltage, low current. High voltage, low current. What animal is extinct due to overhunting and habitat loss post-Ice Age? Woolly mammoth, kangaroo, or bison? Woolly mammoth. What process allows fridges to stay cool? Magnetic cooling, heat absorption and compression, or simple isolation? Heat absorption and compression. What continent today contains the oldest exposed rock? Africa, Asia, or Australia? Africa. The Himalayas continue to rise because of volcanoes, wind erosion, or collision of tectonic plates. Collision of tectonic plates. Where does the Amazon River flow? Central America, South America, or Africa? South America. The human spine has how many vertebrae on average? 24, 33, or 40? 33. The Grand Canyon is primarily in Arizona, Utah, or Colorado? Arizona. What electrical invention is essential to radio transmission? The oscillator, transformer, or rheostat? Oscillator. The Darien Gap is part of what larger biome? Tropical rainforest, desert, or alpine tundra? Tropical rainforest. What appliance uses a magnetron to function? Toaster, microwave, or blender? Microwave. Mount Everest was first summited in 1953, 1924, or 1961. 1953. The deepest cave system is found in Georgia, the Caucasus, Switzerland, or Chile? Georgia. What part of modern phones depends on electricity's control of silicon? Green glass, battery, or microchip? Microchip. What landmark forms part of the boundary between Europe and Asia? Carpathians, Caspian Sea, or the Pyrenees? The Caspian Sea. We are at question 50. What makes continental crust different from oceanic crust? It is thicker and less dense, it is thinner and denser, or it contains more basalt. It is thicker and denser. What was the first widely sold fast food hamburger brand in the US? White Castle, McDonald's, or Burger King? White Castle. The earliest human ancestors first walked upright around 500,000 years ago, 4 million years ago, or 10 million years ago? Four million years ago. Which sugar is naturally found in fruit? Sucrose, fructose, or maltose? Fructose. What type of fat is considered healthiest in moderation? Saturated fat, monounsaturated fat, or trans fat? Monounsaturated fat. The first McDonald's opened in 1940, 1955, or 1963? 1955. Which ancient structure is famously aligned with cardinal points? The Colosseum, Stonehenge, or the Great Pyramid of Giza? The Great Pyramid of Giza. What defines Art Deco architecture? Geometric shapes and lavish ornamentation, rounded arches and columns, or minimalist glass facades? Geometric shapes and lavish ornamentation. The Big Mac was introduced by McDonald's in 1967, 1963, or 1955? 1967. Which part of the human body shrank as our diets changed over millennia? Jaw and teeth, the spine, or the lungs? Jaw and teeth. What is a key feature of Mediterranean architecture? Red tile roofs and stucco walls, flat steel roofs, or shingle wooden walls? Red tile roofs and stucco walls. The first modern-style fast food fries came from Italy, Belgium, France, or Germany? Belgium, France. The pyramids were most likely built using granite blocks, limestone blocks, or basalt slabs. Limestone blocks. Which fat is artificially produced and harmful? Monounsaturated fat, polyunsaturated fat, or trans fat? Trans fat. A key feature of Gothic architecture is pointed arches and flying buttresses, low flat roofs, or circular windows only. Pointed arches and flying buttresses. Which chain popularized the drive-through window? In-N-Out Burger, KFC, or Taco Bell? In-N-Out Burger. Modern house walls often use solid stone, adobe bricks, or insulated timber or steel framing. Insulated timber or steel framing. The purpose of the pyramid's internal shafts might have been to allow airflow, store water, or align with stars for spiritual reasons. Align with stars or for spiritual reasons. Which architectural style heavily used domes and mosaics? Byzantine, Tudor, or Gothic? Byzantine. How has the human brain changed over millennia? It doubled in size in the past 1,000 years. It grew over millions of years, or it shrank as we evolved from apes. It grew over millions of years. Which type of sugar is most associated with added sugars in modern diets? Sucrose, lactose, or galactose? Sucrose. A hallmark of Tudor architecture is half timbering, pillared porticos, or glass walls. Half timbering. What type of fast food was introduced at A&W in the 1920s? Root beer floats and hot dogs, pizza slices, or chicken nuggets? Root beer floats and hot dogs. Modern homes often aim for which energy efficiency measure? Triple glazed windows, no roof insulation, or solid brick outer walls only? Triple glazed windows. Which feature is common in ancient Egyptian pyramid design? False burial chambers, hidden tunnels to the Nile, or circular windows? False burial chambers. Pizza Hut was founded in 1958, 1947, or 1969. 1958. The human appendix is thought to have once helped digest what? Plant material like cellulose, proteins, or fats? Plant material like cellulose. What is a staple material in modern house foundations? Reinforced concrete, wood beams, or adobe? Reinforced concrete. Which architectural style emphasizes horizontal lines and integration with nature? Romanesque, Gothic, or Prairie School? Frank Lloyd Wright. Prairie School. What led to smaller human teeth over time? Disease, migration, or cooking reduced need for large teeth? Cooking reduced need for large teeth. When did KFC start franchising widely? 1920, 1952, or 1970? 1952. What is unique about the Pyramid of Djoser? It has no burial chamber, it's a step pyramid, or it's made of granite. It's a step pyramid. Which fat is liquid at room temperature? Monounsaturated fat, like olive oil, saturated fat, or trans fat? Monounsaturated fat. The famous golden arches symbol was introduced by McDonald's in 1948, 1953, or 1962. 1953. What is a key characteristic of Baroque architecture? Dramatic curves and elaborate decoration, glass facades, or simple lines? Dramatic curves and elaborate decoration. What fast food item did Taco Bell help popularize in the US? Banh mi, hard-shell tacos, or falafel? Hard-shell tacos. What is a common material in modern roofing? Asphalt shingles, copper plates, or wooden slats? Asphalt shingles. Which sugar is found naturally in milk? Lactose, fructose, or glucose? Lactose. What modern house feature helps conserve water? Low-flow toilets, large garden ponds, or roof vents? Low-flow toilets. The Great Pyramid's original outer casing was mostly polished white limestone, granite, or clay? Polished white limestone. Which fast food chain originated in Australia? Hungry Jack's, Carl's Jr., or Sonic? Hungry Jack's. What organ helps regulate blood sugar levels? The pancreas, stomach, or spleen? Pancreas. What defines brutalist architecture? Raw concrete and block-like forms, gold domes, or tiled roofs? Raw concrete and block-like forms. Subway first opened in 1960, 1965, or 1952? 1965. What fat type raises bad cholesterol? Saturated fat, monounsaturated fat, or omega-3? Saturated fat. What defines neoclassical architecture? Columns and symmetrical shapes, flying buttresses, or timber frames? Columns and symmetrical shapes. Which fast food was first mass-produced using assembly line techniques? Hamburgers, fried chicken, or pizza? Hamburgers. The Great Pyramid was built during the reign of Khufu, Ramses II, or Tutankhamun? Khufu. Which region favored adobe for house construction? Southwestern US, Northern Europe, or Japan? Southwestern US. What feature is common in colonial architecture? Symmetrical facades and central doors, asymmetrical roofs, or glass walls? Symmetrical facades and central doors. Our last question, which sugar type is an important energy source for the body? Glucose, maltose, or lactose? Glucose. Thanks for playing, and we'd love to hear how you did in the comments. See you next time. Bye-bye.